knows Joshua was where he was.
Okay.
Hello, Forrest. We have been watching you. We know how you relish in the agony of viewing horrible movies. We can offer reprieve. We understand. Signed, a friend.
I know what you're thinking, but I'm gonna go.
Come in. We have such sights to show you. We'll tear your soul apart.
Hellraiser was once a respected name when it came to horror films. It was one of those franchises that stood out from the other modern slasher films of that era, for being either too disturbing for its viewers, or just too weird for people to understand.
Frank.
No. You have to hear it from your own lips.
This isn't for your eyes.
Clive Barker brought his novella, The Hellbound Heart, to life on the big screen with the original Hellraiser in 1987, and it was well received.
Jesus wept.
Hellraiser went on to spawn 8 sequels and even a video game in 1991 that was sadly never finished. Alas, seemingly with every horror movie that has multiple sequels, they get worse every time, becoming more cheap, more tropes thrown in, and an overall lazy story. Hellraiser Judgement embodies all of these things. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm not dead, but Hellraiser Judgement definitely makes you want to see the Hellraiser series finally pass on. The drama surrounding the making of this film was so thick, you could literally cut it with a knife. When I heard Doug Bradley wasn't returning to reprise his role as the legendary Pinhead, I was a little upset, and a lot of fans on the internet were also pretty pissed off. And for good reason. Doug Bradley has been there from the beginning. He's been playing Pinhead now for 30 years almost. 1987, so that's about 30 years this movie has been out. This franchise has been out. So when I heard he wasn't returning, I was pretty pissed. And because there was no clear reason of why Doug wasn't returning, I looked to the internet to find the answer. And it turns out, the only reason he didn't return to do Pinhead, because Gary Tunecliffe, the guy who directed and wrote the horrible Hellraiser Revelations, had a little dispute with Doug about a NDA he was supposed to sign in order to even read the script for the movie franchise that he's been in this entire time. Another reason for this is because when the director went to Dimension to try to get Doug to come back, Dimension was just kind of like, you know what? Fuck this guy. He's talked shit about our past movies of how horrible they were, so we don't want him around really anymore. So if you want to replace him, fuck it, go ahead and replace him. Even though he's a main staple in the Hellraiser series, all of the people that love these movie series go to see this guy specifically. If he's ever at a convention or anything else, he's the guy everyone wants to see. You don't see anyone clamoring to go to the fucking Comic-Cons to see the guy that played the fucking disc, the disc Cenobite from fucking Hellraiser 3. You may be asking, so what's the plot? What's the plot of Hellraiser Judgment? To be honest with you, this movie really doesn't tie into any past Hellraiser movie that I've ever fucking seen. To be honest, I couldn't walk away and tell you specifically what this movie was actually even supposed to be about. We've got a stereotypical, very much horror trope line thrown into one movie with two detectives hunting down a serial killer, and somehow this ties into the Cenobites. Why? I don't fucking know. If you're scratching your head and going, what do you mean? Two detectives, serial killer, and somehow this ties into Hellraiser in some sort of way, and into the lore of the Cenobites. It's exactly what I'm saying to you. Two detectives are looking for the serial killer that's going around stalking the city, and it's up to them to find him. And throughout the way, there's clues that someone may not be who they're actually pretending to be throughout the entire movie. While at the same time, there's this random little storyline going on with the Cenobites in an abandoned house that has nothing to do with anything of the past fucking Hellraiser films at all. And if that's not a slap in the face already, how about the fact that Pinhead is in the movie for probably less than 10 minutes? The director, Gary Toonliff, if it wasn't bad enough that he sold out the old Pinhead to go and replace him with new Pinhead, and also get another chance to write a fucking Hellraiser movie after the terrible Revelation movie, this will set you off. The main guy that you see throughout this entire film, the Auditor, the guy that looks really cool, he's got the cuts on his faces, he kind of talks kind of cool. Well, that is the director. He is the main star of the Cenobites throughout the entire film, and also pretty much the main star of the entire movie. When I think of Hellraiser, and I think of the first one, the second one, and even the third one a little bit, I think of an intriguing storyline. I think of something entertaining, shocking, and also very fun to watch. When I watched this movie and the past 3 other Hellraiser movies, I'm just sitting there and watching it to say that I watched it. It's not because I'm getting enjoyment out of it. It's because I want to see the fucking train wreck. It's like when you see 2 trains about to collide. You want to look away, but you're not gonna because you want to see what happens. And that's what's like watching this Hellraiser movie. I don't think it even deserves the title of Hellraiser because, in all honesty, all this is a torture porn movie. There's things in it that are in there to try to shock you. It's not even really surprising. If you've seen anything with a Hostel movie or a Saw movie, you're gonna see this in a movie. I remember when I watched the very first Hellraiser, it creeps you out. It's very disturbing to watch. The atmosphere that the movie presents, not just the horrific visuals of Pinhead and everything else that you see of the Cenobites, the atmosphere that it sets up of the other world. I don't know what it's called. The other world that the Cenobites live in whenever the box is fucking opened. But this movie, all it sets up is you're in an abandoned house. It looks like something out of Hostel. And it's pretty much torture porn at that point. And it's not even entertaining in a way. It's something that you've seen done over and over and over again in every other fucking modern horror movie, and also modern horror video game. If you ever played the game Outlast, you've seen everything that this fucking movie has to offer. And what's really disappointing is I was really excited. I was genuinely excited to see this movie because when the trailer came out, again, it was one of those misleading movie trailers where it makes you believe that you're going in to see a movie that's gonna actually pay respect to the franchise. But in reality, all it does is it shows you all the best parts in the trailer, and then you get the most boring fucking hour and 20 minutes of a really bad CSI TV show episode with Cenobites thrown in here and there, and Pinhead is literally not in it until nearly the end of the movie. And when this movie was gonna be made, Dimension Films, they actually wanted to not have Pinhead in this movie at all. It was gonna be about this fucking auditor guy, which would have meant the fucking director of this piece of shit film would have been the star of the entire fucking thing. And let me tell you something. The way that this movie ends is it sequel baits you. And it also sets up something that I don't think has ever been established before. Sure, there was mentions of heaven and hell and other things like that in the Hellraiser series, but this movie sets up some fucking Spawn scenario. Spawn, the comic book franchise, if you're not familiar, by Todd McFarlane. It sets up this fucking Spawn scenario where there's this fucking war between heaven and hell, kind of, and also that all angels are fucking evil, God's evil. They let all the bad shit on Earth happen because without bad shit, there's no good shit. So in reality, God lets people become serial killers and keep on killing people so they can have power over hell and power over humans. And really, the Cenobites are just there to be fucking like watchmen of it all. And what ends up happening, and this is a spoiler right now, if you don't care to see this part, skip. So apparently, this angel that you've never seen before in any fucking movie comes down and's like, "You will not do this. You will release him. The serial killer guy that's really the cop, you will release him so we can kill more people, so we can keep control of hell, and you better do what I say. Don't make me come back down here, otherwise there will be hell to pay." And she literally does say that. There's going to be hell to pay. And Pinhead just goes,
You don't know suffering. I will show you suffering.
And he fucking kills the angel. And we're supposed to care. We're supposed to care because apparently there's some sort of God keeping the Cenobites in check, and it's all tied in with this fucking hell and heaven fucking scenario that they've got with Earth. And then after Pinhead does this, kills the angel, the auditor guy fucking's like, "Ooh, I don't think you should have done that. Now what if we get punished for this?" And Pinhead's just like,
"I don't give a shit. What are they gonna do to me?"
And what ends up happening at the end makes absolutely no fucking sense. It's so fucking stupid. You're gonna think I made it up. Unless you've seen it and you've seen it for yourself, you're gonna think I'm making this shit up. The punishment for Pinhead, sent down from fucking God Almighty himself, is that he doesn't exist. It's not that he dies. It's not that he gets fucking put back in the box. It's not anything like that. It's that he gets banished. Doesn't exist as Pinhead anymore. The next shot we see after Pinhead says, "What are they gonna do to me?" It shows Pinhead in a fucking alley as a human hobo. You wouldn't recognize him that he was the human form of Pinhead because it's a new actor playing Pinhead, which is hilarious because when it first showed the scene, I was like, who the fuck is that? Oh, that's supposed to be Pinhead because it's a different actor. So yeah, the punishment from God was to make Pinhead a hobo in the human world. So, after that happens, that's the fucking end of the movie. Until the cutscene, or until the end credit scene comes up, and it's at a new abandoned house in the middle of fucking nowhere. And these Mormon guys ride up on their bikes. And again, somehow these guys are back to being Cenobites again, with the auditor being there. And he makes some really stupid joke. This movie is so bad that I was literally taken back that they even came out with this. That when the script was written for this, that they actually passed this through. Revelations was so bad that I didn't think there was going to be another Hellraiser movie. I thought that they were going to just can the shit and it was going to be gone for like another 15 years or so. But no, not only did they come back, but they give it back to the dude who fucked it up the last time. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never seen where a director just gets to royally fuck a franchise up with a really horrible fucking movie. It's one of the lowest ranked fucking Hellraiser movies out there. Now this one is even lower than that. And the only reason anyone could say that this movie is even slightly better than Revelations is because of the cinematography for some of the Cenobite stuff. Other than that, there's no fucking reason to even watch this movie. It should just basically be fucking called CSI Halloween episode with Cenobites at the fucking end. In reality, that's all it is. You're watching these two fucking cops have this really horrible dialogue. You see the fucking twist ending coming, that one of the cops is really the serial killers that they're hunting the whole time. You see that within the first 15 minutes of the film. I'm not joking you. I watched this, I called it out like it was a Scooby-Doo episode on Cartoon Network. I'm not joking. So, anyway, if you want my ranking on this movie, don't fucking waste your time. I rented it from Redbox, and I'm pissed that I fucking waited 2 days to see it. It means I paid $2 extra for a fucking movie that's not even worth $1, in my opinion. A movie that shouldn't have been made. And in all reality, Doug Bradley, the guy that played the original Pinhead, I would be like fucking hallelujah motherfucker that I wasn't in this movie, because this movie was so fucking bad that it really would have buried the Hellraiser that we all know and love. This new guy that played Pinhead, I don't give a shit about. The director that did this movie, did the cool auditor character, I don't give a shit about. And in all reality, I really just want Dimension to let Hellraiser rest. But they're not gonna do it. I just read the other day on Twitter that Dimension's already talking about making another one. How and why? When are these movie companies gonna learn that just because you can pump shit out over and over and over again doesn't mean you need to do it? Look at the Terminator franchise, for God's sakes. They keep pumping the shit out. It gets worse every time they do it. Just stop. Dimension. Stop what you're fucking doing. Stop ruining shit. Stop wasting your money, first of all. And just learn. And if you are going to... I know you're not going to listen to me. You're not going to listen to the millions of people who's made YouTube videos of how bad this movie is. You're going to make another one. And for all intents and purposes, you're probably going to give it back to this fucking guy that made this one. And Revelations. Anyway, guys. That's my review for Hellraiser Judgment. You have been judged. I don't know how they're going to make another one. I mean, it's going to be called fucking Hellraiser Hobo War or something like that. I can't believe it. He gets, that's punishment from God as he comes back to Earth as a hobo. It's fucking, I don't understand that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not rent this movie. Save yourself the money. And unless it's free on Netflix, go ahead and watch it. But I gotta warn you ahead of time, it's a bore fest. It's cheap thrills. It is a cash grab, and it is a pile of shit. So save yourself the time and money. Honestly. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next movie review. Have a good night.
We'll tear your soul apart.